Aramaic in the New Testament, Kepha. Now that may not be the pronunciation we're accustomed to. We read in John 1:42 in the English Standard Version, he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, the son of John. You shall be called Cephas." That's normally how we say it, which means Peter. We notice in the Greek that there's a kappa there at the beginning of the name, so it's supposed to be the K sound rather than S. As we figure out the meaning of Kepha, let's start with the translated word Petros. Now, this is related to the word Petra, which means rock, and we can see in Romans 9:33 a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. So that parallelism there helps us to see indeed that it means rock. It, however, has the masculine ending, which would be befitting for a man's name. Now, that having been said, it's interesting, in the Israel Bible Society translation of the New Testament, they have Kepha, and then they have Selah. In other words, they don't have the word Peter in there, which is interesting because at the beginning of 1 Peter, they have Petros as the name of Peter. So the Israel Bible Society translation uses the word rock to explain the meaning of Kepha rather than the name, which is arguably a mistranslation because the word is Petros, not Petra, in the Greek New Testament. It is also interesting that the Complete Jewish Bible does the same thing. This is an English translation of the New Testament where there's Kepha and then there's rock rather than Peter. Now let's look at Kepha from the standpoint of Aramaic, not just as a name. In Numbers 20 verse 8 we have, "And you will bring out water from the rock for them." There's a literalistic translation of this in Targum Onkelos, and the verb there is the Aphel imperfect second masculine singular from nun pe kof. That is a verb we had seen in biblical Aramaic in both Daniel and Ezra, cause to come out. We're especially interested in the final word here, where you have that selah, which is the Hebrew word for rock, and then Kepha, where you have the determined state on kaf. So Kepha, technically speaking, is the rock rather than rock by itself. It has the determined state. That is the meaning of Peter's name in Aramaic.